Serene. Sushant, India has long been vilified for continuing trade ties with Russia. And as Patikrit Pain pointed out, the fact that the Russian president himself said, I know your concerns and we've spoken about this earlier and I take them into account in response to PM Modi's statement. Whereas when the US or France or maybe, the other allies against Russia have made statements, there's been intense pushback from Putin when it comes to those remarks or even advice has been given by those nations. The fact that India has been criticized and definitely does continue to be criticized for sitting on the fence, but this is definitely a pro of our diplomacy as well, and it definitely is a positive factor that Modi's been welcomed by Putin, his statement, and also by world leaders, and has been pointed out at the UNGA again.
Well, look, to start with, the fact is that what the Prime Minister said was smart diplomacy because, in a sense, he was diffusing all the criticism that was coming on India. A lot of that criticism was self-serving. A lot of it was hypocritical, something which the Indians had regularly pointed out, that, look, you guys are continuing to buy oil and gas from the Russians, but when we buy it to save our own people, you start cribbing about it. We didn't have any skin in the war in any case. So why do you want us to pay the price for that war? But nevertheless, there was this criticism coming from the Western media and some of the Western analysts and others. So in a sense, the Prime Minister diffused that entire criticism. But at the same time, I think it is very important to understand that and this is my feeling, I don't have any information on this, but it's my sense that what the conversation between the Prime Minister and President Putin was, in a sense, choreographed. Because the Prime Minister said what he said. It wasn't a very tense moment. He said it as a friend to the Russians. The Russians accepted it, again, without taken aback by what the Prime Minister had said. And in fact, if you remember, Mr. Putin was actually reading from a set of cards on what his reaction is going to be. Now, my own sense is that while at one level the Prime Minister diffused the criticism against India, at the other level, this choreography also was opening doors for diplomacy for the Western countries. If you look at what Putin said, he was softening his stand a little bit. He was opening up a little room for diplomacy, provided the Western countries want to grab that room. Now, it's all very well to keep praising Mr. Modi, but if the Western countries are not going to grab whatever little room is available for diplomacy, then it's okay. We've got what we wanted. The West can fight the Russians till the last Ukrainian. But ideally, they should try and get into some kind of negotiation, some kind of dialogue with the Russians to try and diffuse this crisis. It's not going to be easy. It's going to involve compromises from all sides. Otherwise, this is a never-ending kind of thing. And if the latest reports are to be believed that if the Western countries are not going to reciprocate to whatever little opening is available, the Russians are planning to actually confront them with a fait accompli by annexing some of the territories which they have already occupied of Ukraine. And that will cause a lot of problems going forward. That means that this war doesn't end anytime soon. The tensions don't end anytime soon. And the global economic crisis, which has been fueled by this war, will continue. So, in a sense, Mr. Modi has provided an opening. If he is being appreciated for it, it's for all the right reasons. But appreciation itself is not going to be enough if nobody is going to follow up on the openings that have been created.